quite easy to generate 10K's worth of leads, but it's completely pointless if you can't actually. What's going on, everybody? It's Mattis here, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to get 10K in leads for your coaching business, right? So the very first thing that you're going to need to understand is you may not necessarily need more leads, okay? If you're just starting out and you haven't got any leads, then obviously this video is definitely going to be for you. If you're already in business and you're generating some leads, what I'm about to talk about in just a second is going to be a big thing for you, because I see a lot of people coming in, you talk to them and you say, okay, like what's the kind of issue that you're facing in your business right now? Let me say that I need more leads, right? But sometimes that isn't the case, right? So I'm just going to basically explain what happened in my business, right? So when I was coaching in the affiliate marketing space, there was a week where I managed to schedule 32 calls in a single week, right, from Facebook organic marketing, right? So there must have been way more leads than 32, but out of those leads, I managed to schedule 32 calls, right? And the lead quality, the pre-qualification process that I used to generate those leads was pretty good, right? So the people that I were getting onto calls were quite qualified, right? But then when I left the coaching in the affiliate marketing space, what I actually did is I went into start closing as a phone closer for a multiple six-figure coaching business, right? So I was basically on the phone, taking care of their sales. And they had appointment setters from like third world countries who were setting the calls. So I didn't really have like much control over the calls that were being set. And the issue that I was having is these people were setting tons and tons of calls, but the quality of the calls was absolutely shocking, right? I would sometimes jump on a call with people, one of the first things I would ask them is, obviously, when you schedule this call, what was it that, caught your attention? And sometimes people would say like, I don't even know how I ended up getting to this call, right? So the lead quality was a big issue, okay? So if you're not making like, multiple sales from the leads that you're generating, you may not necessarily need more leads. You may just need a better lead quality, okay? And this will be done by making sure that you have a good pre-qualification process instead of just setting calls with random people and stuff like that, okay? And another thing to take note of is if you're not already making over $10,000 per month, then you do not need paid advertising, right? And this is just kind of like a golden rule. Like if you struggle to make organic work, if you can't make organic marketing work for you, then there's no way in hell that you're going to make paid advertising work. So if you're running paid ads, thinking that is going to bring you in a whole bunch of sales, sometimes people think, oh, right, I'll just put, £1,000 or $1,000 into Facebook ads and it's going to spit 3K out the other end, right? But the issue is when you're going into paid advertising, you have to have the mindset of, I could lose every penny that I put into this advertising, right? Because that's the truth of the matter. But organic marketing is the bread and butter. Organic is always where the best quality leads are going to come from. So you want to focus on that first before you even think about touching paid advertising. And another thing that I really want to touch on quickly is that you don't need a funnel. You don't need a huge following in order to make this stuff work, guys, okay? It just seems that a lot of people out there are trying to skip through the human element. They think, right, how can I automate my business right out the gate? Okay, but the best way for you to be able to generate good quality leads is to just have conversations with people, right? A funnel is not having conversations with people, okay? Running paid ads, it's not having conversations with people. So just having that human element there of really just talking to people, and people don't feel like, you're just trying to sort of push them through this process. There's actually like a human connection there, will help you generate much better quality leads than it will by trying to skip through the process. So you might be wondering, Andy, like what do I actually need to do to start generating leads manually? Well, the very first thing that you need to do is know who your target audience is. And I say this, I've said this times before, and I say it time and time again, right? You don't just want to be going out there just targeting business owners, right? Because it's so broad. You've got affiliate marketers, you've got medical, you've got all of these different things, right? And there's no way that you can create a good marketing message to speak to businesses, right? So figure out who your niche is, figure out exactly who your target audience is, okay? And then from there, you want to do some market research to really try and understand what are their needs, what are their pains, what are those burning problems that are keeping them awake at night, okay? Why do they have these problems? What kind of impacts are these problems having on their life, okay? And then what's the solution to those problems? And when you understand this stuff, you can create a marketing message that speaks directly to those problems that they're experiencing, kind of kicks their bruised knee and then educates them on the solution to their problems, which should be, whatever it is that you're selling, your coaching program, should be that solution. So once you've done that market research, you really just need to sort of figure out exactly like where these people are hanging out, right? So again, like social media, it's going to be loads of different kind of like social media platforms that you can use. If your audience is primarily on LinkedIn, you want to be using LinkedIn. If your audience is primarily on Facebook, and I say like majority of people in the world are on Facebook, and Facebook groups are popping up for absolutely everything these days. So it's highly likely that you're going to be able to find your audience somewhere on Facebook. Okay, so you could use different keywords. You know, let's just say, for example, that I'm in the affiliate marketing space, right? I could type in, you know, affiliate marketing for beginners, or how to make money with affiliate marketing, you know, groups or whatever. You know what I mean? You just want to basically test different keywords in the Facebook search bar related to your niche, and start joining groups that your audience is hanging out in, right? Now, when you join these groups, there's going to be a bunch of them that are good and a bunch of them that are just full of spam, right? So you want to leave the ones that are full of spam, okay? And you want to stay in the communities where the community seems to be policed, okay? It seems to be people in there sort of interacting with each other, sharing value. You know, the admins are actually in there kind of, you know, controlling what's going on inside the group. You don't just want the groups where people are just on there just sort of spamming, throwing their links all over the place and stuff like that, okay? So now you know exactly where to find these people. The next stage is for you to be able to get them on the phone, right? So why do we need to get people on the phone? Like I said earlier, you want that sort of human element of just having a normal interaction with people. This is something that, you know, a lot of people just seem to sort of skip over and just want to kind of automate, right? When you're actually talking with people on the phone, you know, that is where the highest sort of conversion rate is going to be, right? So you want to have a process that's going to move them from, you know, one stage in the process onto the phone. Okay, so if you're on YouTube, you want to have a system that's going to get them onto the phone. If you're on Facebook, the likelihood is you're going to be talking to people in Facebook Messenger. You're maybe going to have some sort of online calendar, okay, where you're going to be talking to people. If they're interested in your service, okay, you're then going to be sort of sending them your calendar link for them to be able to schedule a call and book onto a call with you. And then the next step is really just understanding how to communicate with your audience, right? This stuff is so important, guys. So the best way to kind of explain this is, like, let's just say, for example, that me and you, we have two walkie-talkies, right? And these walkie-talkies have, like, you know, 4 or 5 different sort of channels. Okay, now if I'm on channel 1 and you're on channel 5 and we're trying to communicate with each other, we're going to get that really sort of irritating sort of noise, right? It's just not going to be clear, right? So in order for you to be able to communicate clearly with your audience and for them to actually hear you, you need to make sure that how you're communicating with your people is on the right wavelength. Okay, so it's kind of like if you go out to a huge crowd, a huge protest, and you say, hey, like, where are you? People are going to start looking at you like, who are you talking to, right? So you need to make sure that your communication is on the right wavelength and it's communicating clearly with your target audience. And this goes back right to, you know, the content that you create on social media, the way that you're communicating with people in Facebook Messenger, if that's how you're doing it, the way you're communicating with people on video, like I am now, if this is how you're communicating with your audience, right down to how you're communicating with people on the phone. It needs to be on the right wavelength for it to be heard, okay? And then the next step is for you to learn how to close your leads over the phone, right? Because it's quite easy to generate 10K's worth of leads, but it's completely pointless if you can't actually close them over the phone, right? Because that's where your business is going to be generating the income, okay? So you need to actually be able to kind of close these leads over the phone, learn how to sell. And I know just from saying this, again, I always say this in all my other videos as well, that sometimes when I talk about this stuff, people have like limiting beliefs, they have poor belief systems about selling, okay? If you are running a coaching business, you need to learn how to sell, okay? If your business isn't generating income, then you don't have a real business, okay? And when you're actually selling people, you are selling people a solution to their problems, okay? So people are actually benefiting from paying you to have this problem solved, okay? And not only are they benefiting from having the problem solved, is when people pay for stuff, they're much more likely to get the end result, okay? Now, I just put it to you bluntly, guys, like, out of, let's say, for example, 1,000 people watch this video, there's probably only going to be like 1% of people that actually take action on what I'm teaching them here, right? And it's quite interesting because if any of you know, like most of you would know Russell Brunson, right? The guy who owns ClickFunnels. If you've read the book Expert Secrets, he actually talks about this in the book, right? Where he was, you know, hosting these events. Let's say, for example, this event costs, you know, 50 grand and it would be full of entrepreneurs. And over the years, he'd given friends and family tickets to be at these events. And one thing that he started to notice is that any person that he let stay at this event for free never went on to do anything with that information. But somebody that was sat at the back of the room that paid 50 grand to be there would go on and turn it into like a multiple 7-figure, eight-figure business, right? And this is just kind of how the world works, okay? Is like when people pay for stuff, they pay attention and they're much more likely to get the end result. It's like if you're watching this video here, and let's say, for example, you paid $5 just to watch this video, you're going to want to get your money's worth, okay? So when people are actually paying you to have their problem solved, they're going to pay much more attention and they're much more likely to get the end result, okay? So if any of you are kind of looking for help on learning how to kind of implement a strategy, to get your business generating 10Ks worth of leads and actually close them over the phone, then I suggest clicking on the first link down in the description and scheduling a call with me. This call is completely free. And what we're going to do is we're just basically going to sit there. I'm going to ask you some questions, just find out a little bit about yourself, your business, sort of where you are. And then what we're going to do is we're actually going to map out a step-by-step plan to help you go from, wherever it is you are now and take your business to that next level, on this call. All right. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.